Have you ever noticed how some people never seem to lose their cool? They are the ones who stay steady when everyone else is panicking. The friend who speaks softly during a crisis. The colleague who never raises their voice, even when the deadline's been moved up and everything's on fire. And if you're not one of these people, you've probably wondered, what's their secret? Are they just built differently? Are they suppressing everything? Or have they figured something out that the rest of us haven't? Here's what's strange about it. We live in a world that's constantly demanding our reaction. Every notification, every headline, every minor inconvenience is engineered to trigger something in us. And yet, these calm people move through all of it like they're walking through a different world entirely. So what's really happening beneath that stillness? And more importantly, is their calm something innate, or is it something any of us can learn? Let me paint you a picture. You're in a meeting, and the project you've all been working on for months just fell apart. Someone made a mistake. A critical one. The room erupts, voices rising, blame flying, stress levels hitting the ceiling. And then there's that person. They're sitting there, breathing normally, their face relaxed. They wait for the chaos to settle, and then they speak. Their voice is even. Measured. They acknowledge the problem, suggest a solution, and somehow, just by being calm, they make everyone else feel like maybe this isn't the end of the world after all. You've seen this person. Maybe you've envied them. Maybe you've been suspicious of them. Because here's the paradox, in a culture that glorifies passion and intensity, where we're taught that caring means reacting strongly, calmness can look like indifference. It can look like they don't care enough. Like they're detached, cold, maybe even a little robotic. But here's the truth, what looks like indifference is often the opposite. It's not that they don't feel. It's that they've learned to hold their feelings differently. And this is where it gets interesting. Because when we talk about people who are always calm, we're not talking about one type of person. We're talking about several different psychological patterns that can all look the same on the surface but come from completely different places underneath. Some people are calm because they've trained themselves to be. Others are calm because they've learned that showing emotion isn't safe. And some are calm because their nervous systems are wired differently from birth. The psychology behind this runs deeper than just having a good temperament. Let's start with the neuroscience. Research shows that people who maintain emotional equilibrium tend to have stronger connections between their prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational thought, and their amygdala, which is your emotional alarm system. It's like they have a better communication line between the part of them that feels and the part of them that thinks. But here's what's fascinating, this connection can be built. It's not just something you're born with. Studies on mindfulness and meditation practitioners show that over time, these practices literally change the structure of your brain. They strengthen that connection. They make it easier for you to observe your emotions without being swept away by them. But not everyone's calm comes from conscious practice. Here's where things get complex, and maybe a little painful. Some people learn to be calm because they had to be. In developmental psychology, there's this concept called parentification, where children take on the emotional role of the adult in their family. Maybe you grew up in a chaotic household. Maybe you had a parent who was anxious, or angry, or unpredictable. And somewhere along the way, you learned that your emotions made things worse. That the safest thing you could do was stay calm, stay small, stay steady. So you became the thermostat in your family. The one who regulated everyone else's temperature. And that pattern, that survival strategy, it doesn't just disappear when you grow up. It becomes part of how you move through the world. You become the person who's always calm in a crisis, not because you want to be, but because you learned that your safety depended on it. This is what psychologists call adaptive calmness. And it's different from chosen calmness. It's calm born from necessity, not from peace. Attachment theory helps us understand this even better. Children who grow up with inconsistent or overwhelming caregivers often develop what's called an avoidant attachment style. They learn to regulate their own emotions independently. They learn not to rely on others for co-regulation. They become self-sufficient in their emotional world, but sometimes at the cost of genuine connection. If this resonates with you, here's what I want you to know: your calm might have started as a survival mechanism, but it doesn't have to stay that way. You can keep the skill, the ability to stay grounded under pressure, while also giving yourself permission to feel fully, to need others, to not always have to be the steady one. But let's talk about the people who've chosen calmness. The ones who've deliberately cultivated it. What are they actually doing that's different? Here's the thing, calm people aren't calm because they don't have strong emotions. They're calm because they've changed their relationship with their emotions. Think about it like this, most of us experience emotions as something that happens to us. You get angry, and suddenly anger is in the driver's seat. You get anxious, and anxiety is running the show. Your emotions and your identity become tangled up together. But people who've cultivated genuine calm, they've learned to create space between the emotion and the self. In Buddhist psychology, this is called non-attachment. In Western psychology, we might call it emotional regulation or metacognitive awareness. Whatever you call it, it's the ability to say, I am experiencing anger, rather than, I am angry. It's subtle, but it changes everything. And this is where the research gets really interesting. Neuroscientist Jill Bolte Taylor talks about the 90-second rule. When you have an emotional reaction, the chemical cascade in your body, the adrenaline, cortisol, all of it, naturally dissipates within 90 seconds. 90 seconds. That's it. So why do our emotions last longer than that? Why can we stay angry for hours, anxious for days? Because we keep re-triggering them. We tell ourselves the story again. We replay the moment. We rehearse what we should have said. We're not experiencing the original emotion anymore, we're experiencing our thoughts about the emotion. Calm people have learned to interrupt this cycle. They feel the feeling, they let it move through them, and then they let it go. They don't feed it with narrative. They don't build a house out of it and move in. So what does this actually look like in practice? Here's what's really happening when you meet someone who seems unshakable. They've probably learned to regulate their physiology first, before they try to regulate their thoughts. Because here's the truth, you cannot think your way out of an activated nervous system. When your body is in fight or flight, your rational brain is offline. It doesn't matter how many times you tell yourself, just calm down. So calm people. They work with their body first. They breathe differently. Not the quick, shallow breathing most of us do when we're stressed, but slow, deep, diaphragmatic breathing that literally signals to their nervous system, we're safe. There's no threat here. Research on the vagus nerve, this incredible communication highway between your brain and your body, shows that conscious breathing is one of the fastest ways to shift from a stress response to a relaxation response. But it's more than just breathing. Calm people tend to have rituals. Morning routines that ground them. Evening practices that help them process the day. They might journal. They might meditate. They might go for a walk where they leave their phone behind. These aren't luxuries, they're maintenance. They're how you keep your internal world organized. And here's something else, calm people are often incredibly boundaried. They say no. A lot. Not rudely, but firmly. Because they understand that their calm isn't infinite. That if they let every crisis become their crisis, they won't have anything left. They've learned what's theirs to carry and what isn't. But let's address the elephant in the room. Because being calm in our culture, it's complicated. People misread it. They think you don't care. They think you're not passionate. In work environments, especially, emotional intensity can be mistaken for commitment. If you're not visibly stressed, are you really taking this seriously? And in personal relationships? The calm person can sometimes be seen as cold, unavailable, not present. There's this concept in psychology called mirror neurons, these cells in our brain that help us empathize by literally mimicking the emotional states of people around us. When someone is anxious, we feel a little anxious. When someone is excited, we catch some of that excitement. But when someone is calm in the middle of everyone else's storm, sometimes people don't know what to do with that. They can't mirror it, so they don't trust it. If you're someone who's naturally calm, you might have experienced this. People testing you, pushing you, trying to get a reaction. Or worse, assuming that because you don't show emotion the way they do, you must not be feeling anything at all. But here's what's really happening, you're feeling everything. You're just not broadcasting everything. And that's not the same as not feeling it. The psychologist Dr. Elaine Aron writes about highly sensitive people, people whose nervous systems process information more deeply. And here's what's counterintuitive. Many highly sensitive people appear very calm on the outside precisely because they're feeling so much on the inside. They've learned to create that outer stillness as a way to manage their rich internal world. So if someone has ever accused you of not caring because you stayed calm, I want you to know, they were wrong. Your calm might actually be evidence of how deeply you care, so deeply that you need to protect that inner space where all that caring lives. But we have to talk about the other side of this too. Because not all calmness is healthy. There's a difference between peace and suppression. Between genuine equanimity and emotional avoidance. Some people are calm because they've shut down. Because somewhere along the way, they decided that feeling was too dangerous, too overwhelming, too much. So they built walls. They created distance between themselves and their emotional life. Psychologists call this alexithymia, difficulty identifying and describing your own emotions. And it's not the same as being calm. It's being numb. If you're someone who prides yourself on never getting upset, it's worth asking, am I calm, or am I disconnected? Am I at peace, or am I just avoiding? Because here's the thing about emotions, they don't disappear just because you ignore them. They go underground. They show up in your body, as tension, as illness, as this vague sense of flatness that makes even the good moments feel muted. Real calm, healthy calm, includes the full range of human emotion. It's not that you never get angry, it's that you can be angry without being controlled by your anger. It's not that you're never sad, it's that you can hold your sadness with compassion. The Stoic philosophers understood this thousands of years ago. They weren't teaching emotional suppression, they were teaching emotional wisdom. The ability to feel deeply while not being ruled by those feelings. And this is where we get to something really important. Maybe the question isn't, why are some people always calm, but rather, what kind of relationship do you want to have with your own emotional life? Because here's the truth, you can learn calm. You can cultivate it. But you have to be honest about why you want it. If you want to be calm because you think emotions are weakness, you're going to create a brittle kind of calm. One that cracks under real pressure. But if you want to be calm because you want to be present, really present, for your own life, that's different. That's about building capacity, about strengthening your ability to stay with what is, even when what is isn't comfortable. There's this beautiful concept in meditation called holding space. It means you can be present with something, a feeling, a situation, another person's pain, without needing to fix it or change it or make it go away. You just hold it. You offer your steady presence. People who are genuinely calm have learned to hold space for themselves, for their own fear, their own grief, their own uncertainty. They've learned that they can feel something without becoming it. Here's something hopeful, your brain is plastic. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself, continues throughout your entire life. Which means you're not stuck. If you're someone who's anxious, reactive, constantly on edge, you can change. Not by denying who you are, but by gradually building new neural pathways. Research on cognitive behavioral therapy shows that when you repeatedly practice new thought patterns, you literally create new connections in your brain. Over time, these new pathways become stronger, and the old reactive pathways become weaker. It's like building a new trail through a forest. At first, it's difficult, you're pushing through brush, stepping over roots. But if you walk that trail every day, eventually it becomes clear, easy, natural. The same is true for emotional regulation. Every time you pause before reacting, every time you choose to breathe instead of snap back, every time you feel your feelings without being swept away by them, you're strengthening that new trail. But here's what they don't tell you, it takes time. It takes repetition. It takes falling back into old patterns and then, with compassion, choosing differently again. The people you see who are always calm, they didn't get there overnight. They got there through thousands of small moments where they chose to respond instead of react. Where they chose to pause instead of rush. Where they chose to stay instead of flee. And here's something else that's crucial, calm isn't just individual. It's relational. There's a concept in psychology called co-regulation, the way we help each other regulate our emotional states. Babies learn to calm down by being held by a calm caregiver. Adults do too, even if we don't always realize it. When you're around someone who's genuinely calm, something in you starts to settle. You can feel it in your body. Your breathing slows to match theirs. Your nervous system picks up on their signals. It's safe here. You don't have to be on high alert. This is why calm people are so valuable in crisis situations. They're not just managing their own emotions, they're creating an environment where other people can manage theirs. But this cuts both ways. If you're always the calm one, you might be carrying more than your share. You might be regulating everyone else's emotions at the expense of your own. And that's not sustainable. Real calm includes knowing when to step back. When to let other people experience their own emotional weather without making it your job to fix it. When to say, I can be present with you, but I can't carry this for you. So what does all of this mean? If you're someone who's always calm, I want you to know, your steady presence is a gift. In a world of constant reactivity, you offer something rare, a refuge. A place where people can catch their breath. But I also want you to check in with yourself. Is your calm costing you connection? Are you so committed to being unshakable that you've lost touch with your own vulnerability? Are you so busy holding space for everyone else that you've forgotten you also need to be held? Because here's what's true, the strongest calm isn't rigid, it's flexible. It's not about never breaking, it's about knowing you can break and that you'll be okay. And if you're someone who isn't naturally calm, who feels like you're always at the mercy of your emotions, I want you to know this, your emotional intensity isn't a flaw. Your capacity to feel deeply, to care fiercely, to be moved by things, that's not weakness. That's aliveness. The question isn't whether you should become someone else. It's whether you want to develop more range. More capacity to choose how you respond. You don't have to be calm all the time. You just have to trust that you can find your way back to steady ground when you need it. Here's what I've come to believe, calm isn't the absence of feeling. It's not emptiness. It's not indifference. Real calm is fullness without overwhelm. It's depth without drowning. It's the ability to feel everything and be moved by it without being ruled by it. It's not about being a stone in the river, impervious to the current. It's about being the river itself, flowing, responsive, powerful, and at peace with your own movement. The psychology of people who are always calm isn't about being superhuman. It's about being deeply, authentically human, feeling everything, holding everything, and still choosing, moment by moment, to stay present. And maybe that's the real secret. Calm isn't something you achieve once and keep forever. It's something you come back to. Again and again. In small moments and big ones. In the space between the trigger and the response. In the breath you take before you speak. In the decision to stay when everything in you wants to run. You already have everything you need to find your own version of calm. It's there, beneath the noise, beneath the reactivity, beneath the chaos. Waiting for you to come home to it. And perhaps that's all calm really is, coming home to yourself, over and over again, no matter how far you've drifted away. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your story in the comments. Are you the person who's always calm? Does it sometimes feel like too much to carry? Or are you learning to build that capacity, one breath at a time? Your experience matters. Someone scrolling through these comments right now needs to know they're not alone. If you found value in this, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the human psychology, the patterns we carry and the ways we can grow. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it with them. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is let someone know, you're not alone in this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing the work. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. You're doing better than you think.